obviously a very, very small number. So those reruns will happen tomorrow in accordance with INEC regulations. We do think that it's very important that the people in those polling units are allowed free and fair vote, unhindered, unintimidated, no vote buying, so that the election in those areas can be rerun in a peaceful, free and fair manner. And then we'll see what the outcome is. It's for the people to decide.
But is it in order? Because when you call these elections free and fair, a lot of people would have expected that the words free and fair will culminate in the results being announced. I mean, there was no brutality, there was no violence, as it were. So why is it that after meeting the preconditions for a governorship candidate to be announced or declared or to be returned as governor, Adeleke did meet those criteria? And what's your views to that? After meeting criteria, becoming a governor, and then he doesn't get announced?
Well, as I just explained, the chairman of INEC explained to me that the reruns are very much part of something which is within the regulations of INEC, and that is something that I don't contest. It's something that I'm told by the chair of INEC is how it should be done. I'm confident that in the same way that the elections themselves were run properly, thoroughly, professionally, so the reruns tomorrow will be run in the same manner. So it's not for me to challenge the rules, the regulations. They are what they are. Let's see what the outcome is tomorrow.
Guidelines now of INEC, for instance, as you say, rules are rules, but no rule supersedes the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In that light, shouldn't we have seen something much more different?
I'm not a constitutional lawyer. I'm not an expert on the Nigerian constitution. I believe what the chairman of INEC has told me about the importance of sticking by INEC's own rules and regulations. It's probably for other people, for the lawyers, to argue over whether that is within the constitution or not. What I'm hearing from the chair of INEC is that the regulations would suggest that a rerun is necessary. We accept that. It's important that the people of Osun State, and those in particular in the 7 polling units affected, are given the opportunity to vote according to their conscience. And then let's see what happens after that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arkwright. Let me ask this question. Did you have observers from the British High Commission during the Ekiti elections as well?
Yes, we did have observers during the Ekiti elections. In fact, I was personally there at the Ekiti elections. The British High Commission covers every governorship election. We will be out, of course, in force with our international partners in February 2019. It's a very important part of our mandate here, our remit here, is to observe elections, to ensure that we have as much coverage as we can, and we were, together with our international partners in Ekiti and in Osun State, covering the vast majority of the states, not every polling unit, obviously, but it's an important element of our work here. So and it's important to reinforce that point about democracy in Nigeria. The international community is helping in that way. The British government is helping in that way. We have provided over £40 million over a 5-year program to support and deepen democracy in Nigeria through our Department for International Development. So observing elections is very much part of our mission in Nigeria. We are focusing clearly on the process, on ensuring that that process is free and fair and credible and indeed peaceful. Right, and then we will make a judgment call based on what we see, what we observe in those elections. We're not one-sided. We're not looking for political favors. We are completely neutral. We don't have a vote, obviously, in Nigeria. It's about the process and about the importance of the integrity of the process. And if by observing and sending observers, skilled, practiced, experienced observers on the ground, we can make up our own minds and decide for ourselves whether those processes are fair. And I would like to say that in that process of observing successive elections in the last few years, we have definitely seen improvements. I'd like to commend INEC and the people who are working with INEC, and of course all the voters, for ensuring that those elections are step-by-step an improvement, which I think augurs well for 2019.
So if you're going to do a comparison between that of Ekiti and Osun State, What areas would you say INEC improved on, especially as we prepare for 2019?
I think it's fair to say that the elections were, I mean, I don't think there were any major problems in Ekiti, I have to say. One of the observations that we made, which I mentioned at the time, was some evidence of vote buying in Ekiti. My colleagues, of course I wasn't in Osun, but my colleagues who were said there was less evidence of vote buying in Osun, which I think is progress. I note that 3 people were arrested for selling votes. I note that the INEC chair and political parties have all condemned vote buying, as I did, in the run-up to these elections and indeed at the Ekiti elections. So again, I think that's the step-by-step improvement in the democratic process, which we're very pleased to see.
Okay, as we go towards the 2019 general elections, what areas would you say should be given more attention now that it looks like the vote buying incidents have reduced? I mean, evidence from the Osun elections. What do you think should be looked at more as we go towards 2019?